Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Total Body Strength. Jazzy here, Program Manager with Exos at Autodesk. I've got a solid workout for us today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the demo part. So we are going to do 3 rounds of this. We're going to do 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. And all we need is a set of dumbbells. You can grab 2 sets, a lighter one, a heavier one. I do always recommend that. But we're going to start off here with a little bit of bicep curls into a shoulder press. We're going to have our palms facing out. We're going to curl up towards the shoulders, then turn those hands around, come overhead, back down, and back down towards our sides. So we're curling up, hands to shoulders, making sure that we're not using momentum. Turn them out, push overhead, and then back down. So that's the first movement. And then our second next 2 ones are going to be the same, but just on opposite legs. So the first one we're going to do kickstand or staggered stance Romania deadlifts. So we're going to put all of our weight on one of our feet. Our other foot is going to be this. We can see my feet a little bit better. There we go. So put all of the weight in one foot. So I have all my weight in my left foot, and my right foot is off to the side a little bit, but still under my hips. So that way everything's to stay nice and balanced. We're going to push our hips back. All of the weight is in my left foot as I push up and stand up. So from this angle here, my right foot is really kind of just hanging out there. Push our hips back, stay nice and level, push to the ground and stand back up. So we're going to do all 40 seconds on one side, and then we'll switch over to the other side. So same thing. Whoops. Push those hips back. Push the ground away as we stand up. And then after that, we are going to push our hips back, and we're going to do bent over T's. So we're going to be here, straight out to the side, back down. So from this angle, straight out to the side and back down. So that one is going to be our bench over T's. And then after that, we're going to do alternating curtsy lunges. So we're going to step back in diagonal, hips facing the camera, come down and then back up, and then turn those hips towards the camera. And then really making sure that we're keeping that chest over the arch of the front foot, keeping that weight in front. So we're using our front leg. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and get on the ground on our backs, and we're going to do glute bridge marches. So for this, we're going to push our hips up towards the ceiling. We have one straight line. And we're going to put all of our weight into our left glute as we lift the right knee up. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, lifting on the other side. So we're going to keep our core nice and tight. We're going to use the core to lift the knee up, back down, and then core, lift the knee up and back down. So that is going to be our whole circuit for today. So we can go ahead and get started with our warm up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to be on the hands and knees. We're going to do a little bit of rotation here to start. So we're going to start with the right arm. We're going to reach through, left arm, left leg, inhaling. And then we're going to exhale, opening up, gazing past that thumb, looking up towards the ceiling. And then we inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And we're going to do one more inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And then we can go ahead and plant that hand back on the ground. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And one more inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And go ahead and plant that hand back on the ground. And then the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to do a little bit of quadruped rocks back and forth. So we get our hips warmed up. So on the hands and knees, we're going to inhale, rock back, glutes to heels, coming back up. We can bring those knees as wide as we need to really feel that opening up our hips, bring those glutes as close to the heels, back up. We're going to go ahead and do 2 more now wherever we're at. So we're keeping that core nice and tight. And last one. All right, nice job. All right, we are ready to rock and roll. So again, we're gonna do 3 rounds of this. We're gonna do 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. And I'm gonna get my timer going here. All right, we're getting the timer here in 3, 2, 1, starting with our curl to press. So getting those dumbbells ready and curling towards the shoulders, turning those hands around, back down. Really important to control the weight up and control the weight down. So we don't want to just throw the weights around, we want to control it. Feel our muscles working through the concentric, so that's this portion, and the eccentric, which is the lowering portion. So really working our muscles through each portion of the movement. It's going to give us a little bit more intent with the movement. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up, we're going to do our staggered stance Romanian deadlifts. We're going to put all of our weight in one foot. Our other foot is just going to be hanging out to the side. We want to make sure, though, that we're not super far out here because our hips are going to be on the left and even. So we want the foot directly below the hip. 3, 2, 1. So all the weight is in my left foot right now. Push those hips back until our chest is roughly parallel with the ground. Push the ground away with that whole foot. So we're going to feel that through the glutes. The more we focus on pushing the whole foot through the ground, the more we are going to activate those glutes. So that's how we practice that proper intent with this movement. Keeping core tight so our back is nice and flat. Bring that butt to the belly button so that pelvis is nice and tucked as well. Again, going nice and slow, controlling the weight up, controlling the weight down. 3, 2, 1. All right, next thing we're going to do is that same movement on the other leg. So I'm going to use my right leg this time. And then push those hips back as far as we can. 3, 2, 1. So really important that we are pushing our hips back, keeping those dumbbells along the fronts of our legs. So really important to really push those hips back like we're closing the door with the butt, because if we don't, when we come forward, we're going to start to feel that in the low back, and that's how we can get some low back pain, low back injuries. So we're pushing the foot through the ground, coming all the way up to standing. Great job. Like drive the heels through the ground. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, next up we have our bent over T's. So we're going to push those hips back, bring our arms all the way out to the side, making a nice T. Pinkies up. So we want to hold the dumbbells like this as we come up. 3, 2, 1. So push those hips back, lifting our arms all the way out to the side. I already did these this morning, so I'm dropping those weights. I always say this, we're not going to do something properly with the right intent and use the muscles correctly, controlling, then we do want to make sure we drop that weight down. And like I said, I already did these today. So this movement's feeling a little tight. That's why we did the rotations beforehand. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, next up we have our alternating curtsy lunges. So we're going to step back and diagonal and behind, so that way we can get that glute engagement there. So again, focusing on intent, push through the ground with that front foot. 3, 2, 1. So back diagonal, hips are forward. So we got headlights on our hips. We're blinding the camera here, keeping that chest forward, pushing through the ground. So really moving nice and slow, having good intent here. The more our knee is over that second toe and our chest is forward, we use that front foot to push off the ground. That's how we're going to get that glute engagement there. So it's really important to strengthen those glutes to help with knee pain, to help with back pain. So that's why I like to add these in. It also challenges us a little bit with mobility. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last part here, we have our glute bridge marches. So we're gonna lay on the ground. We're gonna push those hips up towards the ceiling. We're gonna alternate, lifting one knee up at a time. 3, 2, 1. So push those hips up. Keep that core nice and tight. So we're squeezing through the core, lifting one leg up, back down, and then the other foot and back down. So really driving the heels into the ground. It does help if we exhale, but so I lift my right knee up, my left glute is holding all the weight. And then when my left knee is up, my right glute is holding the weight. So we don't want to feel that weight being held in our low back. We want to use our glutes. 3, 2, 1. All right. Round 1 is done. We got 2 more to go. We're going to stand on up. We got bicep curl into shoulder press. So we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to go this direction real quick. So making sure our butt is tucked towards our belly button. As we lift those arms above head, if we're starting to arch our back in order to get the weights above our head, that means 2 things. 1, weight is too heavy, so drop to the next set of dumbbells below. Part 2 is that we have trouble with our overhead mobility. So there's a couple exercises we can do to help with that. So you can always schedule a consult with either myself or Quinn, or come to our stretch breaks, anything like that, and we can help you there. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, next up, we're going to do our staggered stance Romanian deadlifts. So we're going to pick a leg and start with that leg. I'm going to start with my left leg, like we did last time. My right foot is just going to be there for support. So even though right now it looks like I'm standing on my right foot, I'm really all my weight is on my left. 3, 2, 1. So push the hips back, drive the left foot into the ground. So even if I'll show it from this direction. So my right leg is facing the camera right now. So if you notice, my right leg isn't fully on the ground. So my knee is more bent, but it still is directly below my hip. So this is how we get the movement using one leg instead of both of them. But that also means that we're able to have a little bit more stability versus doing like a single leg Romanian deadlift. 3, 2, 1. So that's how I like to do those instead of the single leg Romanian deadlift, because we don't have to worry about our balance. So we can really focus on the movement and using those glutes and using our muscles properly. So today is definitely a big glute day. 3, 2, 1, which I did on purpose. So we're doing a lot of lower body pulling and a little bit of upper body too with the bicep curl and the bent over tees, which means that next week we're going to do a little bit more pushing movements. So we're going to have a little bit different movements there, focusing more on the quads a little bit. So that is what is to come next week. Great job. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, next up we have the bent over tees, which I'm not feeling so good about today, but that's okay. We are going to do those and straight out like a T, pinkies up. 3, 2, 1. So push those hips back. So butt to belly button, keep that core tight. Hips are closing that door. Arms straight out to the side, making a T, pinkies up towards the ceiling, palms facing back and back down. What does help me with this one is sometimes if I come a little bit too much out in front, I'll start to feel that in my traps a little bit, and that's not where we want to feel it. So sometimes it helps if you keep your hands behind the shoulders. You're still making a T, you're just using more of the rear delt there, and that's going to help with posture versus the traps, which are shrugging those shoulders. 3, 2, 1. Also, most of us have overactive traps here, so we don't need to work them. We need to work the other muscles of the back to help with posture. All right, next up we have our alternating curtsy lunges. 3, 2, 1. So we're gonna step back diagonal. Here, I'll show from this angle as well. So hips are still blinding those, headlights are still blinding the camera, but when we do step back in diagonal, hips are forward, we're coming straight down. So you see my chest is over the arch of my front foot. All of that is in my glute. So as I stand up, pushing through the ground, it's just my glute that I'm using to stand up. So same thing on this side, coming down, staying forward. Whoops, didn't really do that one correctly. That's okay. So we're coming back, like drive through the heel, stand all the way up. 3, 2, 1, awesome. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do our glute bridges next. So we're going to be marching on the ground. 3, 2, 1. Hips up nice and high. Keep that core tight. One knee at a time. Really squeeze that core, keeping it engaged. Really, as we drive the left knee up, the right glute is holding that load. So pushing the right heel into the ground so we can activate the glutes. It's really what it comes down to. Great job. Almost there. Trying to do a few more marches. 3, 2, 1. And we have one more round left. So we're gonna go ahead, stand on up, get ready for whatever's next, the curl to press. So we're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So we're gonna curl up, hands to shoulders, up, around, and back down. So keeping that core nice and tight. Back down. Same thing, remembering, don't want to use momentum. So if we're starting to swing the weights down, swing them back up, that means those weights are too heavy. Drop them down. Want to control the movement the whole time, all the way up, all the way down. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. Done with those for the morning. We have our kickstand or our Stagger Stance Rdls next. And then we're going to do one on each leg. Then we got a few more movements and then we're done with this workout. 3, 2, 1. We might be done with this workout, but we got a full schedule of classes coming up today. So if you want to take some more boot camp style classes, we got exercise with exos today coming up at 12 with me. We're spelling snowman, give you a little sneak peek of what's to come. So that's going to be a fun workout. And then we do have dance with John at 12:30. And we got abs and core with Quinn at 4. And we also have a stretch break at 11 with Quinn. So we got a lot of stuff coming up today. 3, 2, 1. We got a full normal Thursday. We only got one more left of 2021. So we better take advantage of all those classes before the new year. All right, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Getting ready here, using our other leg. 3, 2, 1. Push those hips back, keeping that pelvis tucked, keeping that core nice and tight. But we will not have any live classes over the weeks of rest. So if you'd like to take some classes, feel free to jump on YouTube. This recording is obviously on there because that's how you're watching it. So we'll have lots of other stuff up there for y'all to do over the breaks. Definitely check that out. Three, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, next up, we're gonna do the bent over tees. Then we got curtsy lunges. And then we got our marches. Then we're gonna be done for the morning. We'll do a little cool down, a couple stretches, we'll be good to go. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're pushing those hips back. Like we're closing the door with our butt. Keep that pelvis tucked so our back is nice and flat. We don't want to hunch our back. We also don't want to curve like this. It's going to put that pressure on there. So if we bring butt to belly button, lock it up with the core, push our hips back, all that load is in the glutes. Coming straight up. This is not feeling so hot today. Think I need another stretch break. All right, coming up. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, next up we have our curtsy lunges. Let's go ahead and get those dumbbells ready. Oh, all sore today. But I'm not teaching a stretch break today. Need that. 3, 2, 1. Stepping back diagonal. Hips are forward. Keeping that weight forward, just using the front foot to stand up. So if you notice that I go nice and slow on the way up, I pick up my back foot. That's what helps me really focus on the glutes. So if you pick up your back foot, you're pushing through that heel of the front foot and the big toe, little toe, whole foot, but really using the heels is going to help us really get that nice glute drive. So I'll come from this angle, stepping back, diagonal, push up. 3, 2, 1. I almost fell over. All right, there we go. Okay. One more movement today. We have our glute bridges with the march at the top, working on our core to date. All right, getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Heels into the ground, hips are up. 1 knee at a time. Driving those knees up. Using that core. Great job. Really drive through. We want to plant that foot, drive the heel into the ground, lifting up, back down, lifting up, back down. Great job. We're almost there. We got a few more to go. Keep that core tight. Use those glutes. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for the circuit. So I'm going to go ahead, grab a sip of water if you need it. We're going to make our way onto the ground on our hands and knees. When we're ready, we're going to do a little bit of reach throughs here. I'm going to work on stretching out the back. So we're going to reach through between right arm, right leg, head on the ground, push the hand into the ground, pull away with the upper back. So it's going to help us stretch out our traps, stretch out right underneath the shoulder blade, get a little bit of rotation through the spine. Nice big deep breaths into the chest. Long slow exhales. We're going to do one more deep breath here. And as we exhale, we're going to come up back to our hands and knees. And we're doing the same thing on the other side. So reaching through, opposite hand in between the left arm, left leg. Push that hand into the ground, pull away with the upper back. So I kind of sometimes like to pull my arm away too. So I just give a little extra stretch in there. Great job. Let's go and do one more deep breath. And after that exhale, go ahead and plant those hands back up under those shoulders. And from here, we're going to tuck our toes, push ourselves up into a little bit of down dog. We're going to stretch out the upper back here. We're going to start to pedal those heels into the ground, stretching out our calves and our hamstrings. So plant that left heel into the ground. Switching over to the right heel. and the left heel. And last one to the right heel. And from here, we're gonna go ahead and walk those hands towards our feet. Get a little bit of stretch through the back and hamstrings. And from here, we're gonna go ahead and roll up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Do a nice shoulder roll at the top. And that's going to be all the time I have for today's class. So thank y'all so much for joining me. Great job. Like I said, we got lots of classes coming up. So I'll see y'all there today. And check out 10 Days of Fitness on Slack. It is day 4 today, but you can retroactively participate. So let us know if you want to participate. We'll sign you up on the sheet. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. And I'll see y'all later.